God, I'm tired of this. I'm waiting on you.
Hey, welcome to Joyful Heart Praise. I'm your host, Geraldine. I'm Letha.
Elder Ty.
Marcus Ty.
He's back.
It has to be the pizza. This is like the third week in a row we eat pizza. We got to eat too much pizza.
Food.
So, today, we're going to talk about gendered Bible studies, gendered clubs, gendered meetings. The essence of the idea is, and we kind of talked about this off camera, Ty, is that should Bible studies be the women and the man, or should they be everybody together? Should men talk about women stuff? Should women talk about men stuff? Or should they stay in their own separate corners and mind their business? And Ty got some notes, and so Ty, I want you to share what your notes are as far as how you think it should be.
So here's my belief, and like I said this off.
Wrong! No, I'm joking.
He's already giving it away. But no, I think they should be separate. And I said this offset. Maybe it's because of my experience and my exposure to some things.
Was it tradition?
Share with us your experience.
I feel like there are entities in this world.
What type of entities?
Bible study.
Okay.
I think Bible study should be. Here's what I would do.
Okay.
If Pastor Ty ever comes to light.
When Pastor Ty comes to life.
If Pastor Ty ever comes to light, you're going to see.
Boy, you be glad to say, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm not following.
I'm not going to mess with you.
Go ahead.
But I have men's Bible study, women's Bible study, youth Bible study.
Okay.
Quarterly.
Now wait a minute. So men's Bible study, women's Bible study, youth Bible study.
Yes.
So is there a youth boys Bible study and a youth girls Bible study?
Yes.
Okay, be specific.
The youth pastor, the umbrella he would control, or she would control, both of those Bible studies. There'll be 3 sections of it. You have your at-risk, what I would call at-risk youth. Those youth who are maybe coming in with certain ideas that we didn't really conform to. They may have some drug issues. They may have some rehab issues. Right? I want to keep that entity a little bit different than the traditional churchgoer who's accustomed to some things. And then have like a purity program for the girls, a valor program for the young men, and then a program for the babies.
Okay.
All right? And the reason I think that is because application of what we study is vital. Okay. So separating that, because I think how we apply what we study can affect the relationships that we have. Okay. And so that's why I would keep it separate. Okay. I'm okay with them not being separate. I'm just saying for
that's
me.
That's how you would do it.
I would.
If ever.
Okay.
There was a church where the bottom line said, senior pastor, Tyrone.
We will have Bible study, but they will be separate.
Okay.
Can I get an example of a different application that would affect
from the word.
whether it's a female or a male?
Yes.
Do you need me to interpret?
No, I got
okay, you got it?
She spoke in English.
She did, didn't she?
Yeah, I think when you talk about, let's say, the Proverbs 31 woman.
Okay.
And how that's applied and interpreted.
Okay.
That should be separate.
Right.
Because how men would see those scriptures and how they should play out may need to be contoured differently, because then the expectations are developed. So if I'm sitting next to my wife and we're talking about what a Proverbs 31 and one person, because that's what usually happens, the teacher projects their ideals, and whoever's agreeing with that ideal goes, yeah, that's what you should do. Now I have this convoluted relationship based upon manipulation.
But do you know the other thing that could happen? So the woman is being taught one way, and the man is being taught a different way.
And they should
about
be.
The same. Hold up. About the same
subject. She said, "Wait until she
about the same subject." But because they're taught differently on the basis,
they bring home something.
He has a different expectation than what she's come
and she
home
wasn't
with.
even there.
But they had that anyway.
Yes, but if they're together when they're learning it, then their basis is the same.
Not necessarily true, because just because I'm sitting next to you hearing the same thing,
Geraldine.
Sorry.
Jesus.
So think about it this way: we both could be sitting next to each other hearing the same alphabet song.
Same alphabet song.
Yet when we go to different spaces, that alphabet means something different.
Means something they told you.
So
just God forbid you said amen during the alphabet
But it
song.
would be because of a mindset, not because you were taught two different things.
And that's what we agree. Because I believe if we're taught, we need to be taught different things as when gender-based topics. I think there are faith-based topics that go across the board. Right. Interpretations of one thing, I'm talking about that. But I think there are gender-based topics that need to be taught differently.
How you feel about
I can agree with that to a point.
To a point.
To a point. Like I was saying, I can understand. So if you have regular Bible study, I believe we all need to know the basic principles together.
Right.
There's
Life
no
principles
gender difference, you know.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about teaching a woman how to be a wife and a husband to be a husband, there are different scriptures that break that down. And so I believe that that's fine if you separate that in order to teach a woman and a man how to be those for each other. But on certain subjects, I think you need to be together because, number one, you need to know if you see that differently before you get home and don't have someone else to give you that information.
Give you that kind of.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's where my quarterly Bible study would come in because now
that's where everybody come together.
We come together and say, cause see, maybe let me go a little bit deeper. When we come together, then that would be the opportunity because I don't believe in this. I have a workshop mentality. I have more of a Freudian type of thought process when it comes to that.
So what kind of thought process?
Freudian.
What'd you say?
Stop it.
No, I need to know.
Freudian.
Spell it.
Let me Google it.
Stop.
Y'all too much.
I ain't heard that one. New
I'll
York.
say it this way.
Stop it.
I think that we could develop ideas differently.
Okay.
But in order for the expectation, especially in relationships, for the expectation to be harmonious, we have got to bring those together. To say, hey, here's what I agree with. You may disagree with me. I don't think because you have an expectation that all expectations must be met.
Right.
I think they must be shared.
Right.
And I think that coming together says, hey, based upon the teaching that we received, and as a senior pastor, you go, hey, again, implied task, you vet your teachers, understand what their curriculum would be. I think one of the mistakes we make in church,
we let
everybody just talk. We don't check their credentials, we don't check their experience. We just say, oh, you hoop real good, here's a microphone, teach something. And they have no idea what they're talking about. So I think the inherent task would be you vet these instructors to make sure that the curriculum, syllabus comes together and we're all teaching. If anything were to arise, I won't be a hands-off type of senior pastor where I trust that people are getting what they... I want to be a hands-on and say, hey, as a coach, I don't shoot the basketball, but I make sure everybody's in position that we win the game.
So let me Geraldine, what are you thinking now?
I'm thinking that I was
Did you get your phone call?
slightly distracted.
Yeah, when they went on.
So I'm still trying to play catch up.
Okay, not a problem. So because I got another area I want to go to with this, but I did get a chance to become a senior pastor.
Congratulations! What's the church name? Church name, sir.
Church name is
Anniversary time.
New Life Church in Spanaway, Washington.
Get the app.
We hold services at the Spanaway Lake.
He's doing a commercial. Like seriously.
11 a.m. every Sunday morning. Come out.
And make sure you subscribe to this show.
So, here's what we do.
You ain't gonna share the motto.
Yeah. New Life Church, where your past is over and your new life begins. We have Bible study. We have Bible study with everyone. Okay? Now, one thing we don't do that's a little different is our Bible studies are out of a book, not a lesson book. For instance, we went from the 40-day soul fast with Cindy Trim. We went to Let It Go, Bishop Jakes, on forgiveness. We went into, now we're in the book, The Bait of Satan, which is offense. Do you see what I'm saying? For me, this is stuff that we all can.
Yeah, those are topics
that's something we all eat on. Yep. We dialogue and understand. But
he's only going to do it once a quarter.
Right. I'm trying to help you out.
I did have a question about that.
Okay, I'm going to get it to you. So, now, with that, we have a women's group and a man's group. The women's group is called Beauty for Ashes. Men's group is called Out of the Mire. Now, in those groups, we deal with more specific
gender-based,
how to be a better husband, how to understand. And with that, there's times where Lady Mimi, who is the pastor, who is the first lady, she will come to the men's to be able to give us perspective from a woman. Because one thing I can't stand, and I tell my wife all the time, you aren't a man, have never been a man, won't ever be one. So how are you going to tell another woman what a man does? That's from your perception. You still don't know what's going on in here. And if you act upon his actions, you may be totally off from his nucleus. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to fix, right? Why are you doing this, right? And so you can only find that out as a man. For me to talk to them, that's speculating.
Yeah.
But if I have a woman come talk to us,
Yeah.
That's knowledge.
Now they can ask some real questions like,
women,
hey, so my wife is da-da-da-da.
Right. A
Well, as a
species-based question.
woman,
I can
Gender-based
tell
question.
you, we're
Uh-huh.
really not mad about that.
you see what I'm saying?
We
Right.
were mad about you dropping that towel
Which
in
goes-
that bathroom last
which
week.
goes to something that
But we're gonna let you know today.
Which goes to something that might help some people out there. There's something we share when we talk to men and women, and that's this. Men think in boxes. And we make sure none of them touch.
I like this, y'all. By the way, key plug.
Yes.
Listen to this. Say that
And
twice.
women are multitasking.
Wait. Watch what he calls it though.
Women think in wires,
Wires.
and all of them intersect.
Yes.
All of them. And so,
He
just
kills
what she
this.
just
He
said,
kills
No,
this.
they smooth.
what she just said, she said, we're really not mad at that.
No.
We're mad because of that. Why? Because it intersects and touches
Yep.
everything. Whereas a man, we go,
What?
that
doesn't
and
have
that?
nothing to do with
Please,
each other.
honey. You know,
Right.
but those are things.
We'll explain how it does.
And you know what? Here's the problem. While they explain, we're still going.
We'll process
but
it.
that box is over there.
But
still process.
it'll take another woman that don't know nothing about the scenario
To be able to now
and if
share
I
that.
explain it,
Mhm.
she would know exactly
Exactly.
what I'm
Oh, yeah.
talking
Oh, they
about.
know exactly.
But he would still be
It's
like,
the same.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same.
what does that got to do with it?
And so
she'd be
that's-
like, mm-hmm,
that's
I
how
know
we-
just what you mean.
That's how
he
we
do
try
the same
to
thing.
address the individual groups, but still also address
Have a
us
collective.
as a whole.
Right.
You know, I would when we begin to have Sunday school, because I have some unorthodox ways of, and it's not that I'm knocking. Let me tell you, the greatest thing God told me is I'm going to show you some different things on how to do it. That does not mean that you have the right way,
Right.
nor does it mean the way they're doing it
It
is
just
wrong.
fits the way
it's
it
just
fits.
for the
It
people
fits
that
the
I'm
way
going
you
to
do
bring
it.
to you.
Right,
This is
need
what you
this.
need to do, right?
Exactly.
And so for
I think
us,
that's where I am.
yeah,
I think that's where I am.
so
Just
for
like
us,
my
when we
church,
get
yeah.
to Sunday
Same
school,
way.
when we get to the point where we're able to have Sunday school will be more of that on a regular basis.
Okay.
Because right now, the women's groups and the men's group, we're like on a
They
quarterly
meet
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on a Sunday
but
morning, we
too,
can deal with scripture with those
At the
different
same
things.
time, women as well as men need to release some things to some brothers
Right.
that
And that's
only
what
some
those
brothers
men
can
meetings for and women's
understand.
meetings.
That's what the
then-
barbershop is called.
It-
That's my men's
well,
Bible study going to be called a
Okay.
barbershop.
Oh, okay, I like that. Is that in the book?
That's in the book.
That's in the
The
notepad.
barbershop and a
And
beauty
the
parlor.
I'm
women's-
gonna take
Okay.
that because
But
You
Yeah,
can't be
yeah.
stealing my idea. It ain't even went public yet.
Yeah, it's gone
Well, I just went
public
public.
now.
you sure did.
But with the women, they need to have a release where women can relate to,
Right.
and not just. It doesn't have to be about their spouses or their kids all the time. It could be some
Air.
organs going on with
See, and
them.
that's what I think the
Different
women's
body
department and the
functions
men's department
Are
is
supposed
for.
to speak
Yeah.
to.
That's when the men's department and the women's department meet, they should be addressing that.
Yeah.
Because if you have these
Stop.
separate
Pause right there. But that's the experience. I think that's one of the experiences that he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because in our experience coming up as a kid, the women's and men's department didn't address that. Women's and men's department was a time for us to come together and waste time. At least as a kid, when I looked at
And
that,
that's-
those
right.
meetings, that's why I felt
And
like
that's-
we're really
and that's
wasting
where,
time.
and that's where structure comes in.
Right.
You know, the women's and men's department are supposed to address real issues that are
In
going
those-
on in those.
Well, then you talk
Yeah,
about a church
then you don't
paradigm
need-
shift.
Then
Oh,
you
I
don't,
Churches
no,
don't.
but then you don't need a separate Bible study because waiting 3 months to come together and decide how you felt on that one issue that you were trained separately on. By then, you could have all kinds of stuff going
But
on.
I guess it
But
depends on the type of
everything has
training
to
you get.
advance.
Right.
And the reason why I say everything has to advance because I really thought sisters hoods and sisters meetings and Bible studies with just the females had to do with just praying. Because that's
Yeah.
what we did. We came together and
Yeah.
we just prayed all the time. I was like, man, I don't want to go to this again. I ain't trying to be this.
Right.
But if we actually dealt with, and they were taboo. Nobody wanted to talk about that. But I wanted to talk about now, hey, you know, my booty's inflamed. I'm pregnant. I had kids. And then somebody else would explain.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know how y'all was
See,
let that.
That's why women.
Can we-
look.
What? I don't want to hear what I just hear.
But see, that's what I'm
But
saying.
look,
That's why you wouldn't be in there.
This is the thing.
I don't think nobody wants to be in there for that.
Them women, they like,
Another woman can be like, girl, does it feel
Me
like
too.
this? Well, I'm gonna tell you right here.
I didn't wanna say-
You need to go get your this
Some
check or
castor
that
oil.
check.
That's what
Hold
you
on,
need to
babe.
do.
Let me tell you like this. Peep this. Once you've had a child, there is no subject that is.
Okay, wait. I don't
that's
want.
off the
I don't
table.
want to talk about.
No,
information.
you guys don't have to deal
I
with
think
that.
you
But I'm
should.
just saying, as a woman,
They do.
there are those things that need
No,
to be
we
need to
discussed.
talk.
Women
And
talk
so, a
about
No,
woman
I think as a
can
man
address
they ought
those.
to because sometimes I think because things like this happen,
Mm-hmm.
we aren't understanding the full totality of what postpartum can look like. So we wondering why women have attitudes and they got information
And
in
sometimes
areas that we
lose their
have
sex
never
drive.
been taught.
Right.
And because it's taboo.
And you can
But-
ruin marriages without
But when you
understanding.
have, and that's why you
and
need
you see how-
need Bible studies with everybody.
You need life studies.
That's warriors.
And then
You're becoming warriors,
Yes.
right? And then when you have the women and the men can go and be like, man, I'm too young to not be able to do, the activities with, oh, you know what? You should try these pills. Okay? So that's
was in the
men's
group.
conversation. I'm just saying. Not just the males group and the females group, but then that's when you need to have the marital classes and the marital Bible.
And the
Hold
single
up,
classes.
just a minute. What did you just say?
Marital Bible studies.
No,
She's making up
it's
words.
not.
Stop
It's
it.
not.
I can make up
See,
any word I
no,
want
not
to.
when we're talking to people.
You know
out
she
there.
has a dictionary.
We're
or
on
something.
Joyful
Don't nobody
Heart
know.
No,
Praise.
she has her
But
own.
no, this is the deal. You knew exactly what I was saying.
No, I didn't at
Yes,
first. No,
you
I
did.
sat back here and I
You
was
said
going,
you said
What
what
you said?
word did
Match
you
that
use?
up and what?
But you knew what I was talking
okay,
about.
so let me
that's
ask,
that's that.
let me ask
Trying to act like he don't know.
let me ask you all this. So we're okay. You got groups that are separated, groups that are integrated. Right? Okay. So now let's veer off to the left a little bit.
Okay.
How should communication take place in those groups? Let me give you an example. It might not be a Bible study. It might be the musicians of the church.
Right.
Okay. In the musicians, we have the music director is a male, drummer is a male, bass player is a female, keyboardist is a female, organ player is a male.
Right.
All right. But we about to have rehearsal tonight
Right.
at 11:30.
11:30 at night.
Who should make that phone call?
Right.
Who should make that phone
Because
call?
somebody got to cross pollinate.
If it's a
Somewhere it's gonna
female,
cross-pollinate.
another female. If you my
But how is
wife,
that female?
I'm gonna need a female.
Okay.
That drummer can
Right.
get his wife to
But
call.
what if he's single?
He can get a
He can get
girlfriend.
the-
He can get a sister. He can get his mama. He can get the first lady of the church. I don't care. When you call him my
I'm
husband,
just on
you
the
have to-
scar.
Yeah.
Do you
Being
want to talk about
reopened.
it?
Yeah, we can talk about
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
Look
Tell me
at
what
that.
happened. Tell us what happened.
And,
Don't use
there's
names.
nothing wrong
Protect the
with
guilty.
blending and going to the Bible studies and stuff like that,
Meetings
and being
or-
in the class and being in the choirs and having these different events outside of church as well as inside of church. But when you have to, as long as you keep it appropriate,
Okay.
as long as you keep it respectful. Now, a chick calling my house at 11
What's a
o'clock
chick?
at night.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. Was chick
Just
is like
a
a
female.
Okay, a lady.
A chick.
Jesus.
I call her a chick because what do I do with chickens? I fry them and I eat them. I don't care about them. They don't know me.
Jesus!
I go there.
Is y'all got some oil or a healing towel?
I
or something?
believe they can
Did she
fry.
get some water?
We gonna need to pray.
What's in that?
With the eye on high.
Kumbaya. We need
But
No
listen to
grits
this.
for you.
A female.
Okay.
Now I knew he's in the band, but a female called at 11:30. Now do I think he's cheating? No.
So this was a
I don't
previous
have that kind of
relationship. Previous
insecurity.
relationship.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was in a relationship.
Oh, you was in a
And
relationship.
I don't have no insecurities like that, but
Okay.
things are just inappropriate.
Right.
So a female called at 11:30 at night. So I'm like, why is she calling? Oh, she's just somebody that plays in the group. I said, I don't want to hear that at 11:30 at night. Why didn't you have a guy call you? That's a pro.
Oh, how could he know who was gonna call him?
And then I would say, I just said flat out, I don't want you to go. I don't appreciate that. I don't know if that's
So now
what
he can't
Go,
go to bed?
because you mad?
No, it's not that he
Why can't you get up and go with him?
It's 11:30 at night and I got two kids.
But why are you
and
blaming
babies in the
him?
bed.
Why are you
I
saying
wasn't blaming
somebody
him.
else
I
should've
just
called
told
you?
him, what kind of woman, what kind of husband would you be if a man called your wife
I'm about to say that.
11:30 at night? No, I'm just saying, what kind of man would you be if you didn't question it?
I wasn't asking you to question it.
But see, that's what I'm
I
saying.
was not
All I
that.
did was question it.
No, but
But
then
you
told him
said
to
you
go.
couldn't go.
I didn't
You
feel
put him over your question. That's not what
I
didn't
attention.
feel comfortable.
You put up.
There was some ultimatums. If
This
you
is-
gonna touch that,
You gonna pick me?
we gonna have a problem.
So,
Go ahead,
the story
Tom.
So he
in
can't-
its totality.
Yes.
He got a phone call saying at 11:30, come to rehearsal right now.
11:30 at night.
Okay.
No, not come to rehearsal right now. Oh, are you coming or?
Okay,
So
he got-
rehearsal was probably taking place He was not there yet.
Right.
When she probably wasn't there because he was scared to
Because
tell
he
you
tell you
that he wouldn't go
wasn't
because
there.
you wouldn't have been thinking he was
The
going to
person was that night.
That's where my question was going, because we dudes and we
Right,
both
right,
thought the
right.
same
It's like
thing.
this. Once he moved out and he was
He go to rehearsal every time he
in
wanted
the
to.
dorms, I would call at a certain time because I'd want to know where I'm dropping the kids off at that time. And he would be, oh yeah, I'm in the hall, in the rehearsal hall.
Okay.
And
Well, I
he
know-
was
I know his
rehearsing at
bands.
that type of night. But
Anytime
that's
they
just
rehearse
at night.
the bottom line is
Well,
this.
then you
Just keeping things appropriate that doesn't make it look like
The appearance.
This is
Go ahead,
the
Mitch.
thing. This is the thing here.
I can agree with that.
I would say that you take up that cross or that problem
Mhm.
with the person who called. I would have got
Oh.
on the phone.
Oh, that's a different one. You took a left turn on me on that one.
I asked her
Hold
who she
on.
was. I asked her
I'm
who
like,
she
excuse
was.
me, can I?
And
see
she
who this is?"
said, ask your husband who I am.
Oh no.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
wait,
no.
wait a minute, wait a minute,
Oh, no.
Now that's
wait a
a
minute,
problem.
wait a minute.
But this
Y'all
is the
can't see
problem.
this, but our production assistant just made a face.
But you don't understand. The problem became, okay, when she hung up, okay, I got that. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole.
Yeah, you said that.
I can deal with that.
That's an important
I can deal with that,
information.
but wait.
Yeah.
This is what the issue was when he began to defend that person.
Yeah, you left out a
and
lot.
come up
That's,
against-
Okay,
that's
now
a
we
whole
good.
other situation.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
never
then
mind.
you
We
come
good
up
now.
against me. And if you're in a situation where you have to cohabit with other people, other sexes inside whatever you're doing, all you got to do is, if your spouse don't understand,
And I'm
be
gonna piggyback
understanding
what
for that spouse,
Right,
and
right.
don't be afraid to
Right.
explain. Don't leave nothing out. Don't
Right.
try to leave nothing out where that person's gonna have to find out later and then be like, oh, I told you so. Well, I told you so, but you didn't go to that one.
But that's
You
what we
should've
would
told me from the
learn in
beginning.
those gender separate spaces.
Well, see,
You would
this is the
learn.
thing. This is the
They
thing.
ain't gotta
right?
take. They ain't gotta take the place. of
Okay,
Bible study.
this is two.
Yeah, they got
Go ahead.
to-
Let the pastor talk.
Go ahead, Mr.
This is two different situations. So if it was the first situation that we thought it was, I would say that the communication would be like, excuse me, I think it's inappropriate for a female to be calling my husband at this time of night, so I'd appreciate if you did not
Oh,
make
you
that
so
phone call.
nice.
If there is another
Ooh,
member,
you
a
nice.
male member of your group that can call my husband, that would be more respectful to me, because this is not the time for a female to be calling my husband. That would be that conversation.
Or get to the
But-
phone
You
before I
gotta take
do.
Letha to the project. She was real nice.
Or
with that
you need to
one.
get to the phone before I do.
Hold up, go
It
ahead.
just takes a while to
What's
get
the
you there.
second?
She's so cool.
Now, with the second situation, my husband wouldn't have been going nowhere either, because this disrespectful female just said, ask your husband who I am. Excuse me, what? Huh? What just happened?
So
Yeah, that's a whole nother scenario.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
So now my husband needs to be checking this person who's calling him on the phone at this time of night and
I wouldn't even
disrespecting
answer
his
the
wife.
phone.
So let me give
Like,
perspective
you set
because
yourself up. I
because
wouldn't
in
be
this
on the phone.
I
scenario,
answered the phone.
in this scenario, we're also trying to
that up
help.
too.
We're also trying to help people out there that might be
Exactly.
going through the same thing.
Yeah.
So number one, in this scenario, let's just say this wasn't you. Let's say this was a general situation.
Let's
Or
just say,
somebody
keep the communication.
help me, Geraldine. You still went personal back to the date.
I'm sorry.
Let's say this was a general situation. The first thing that I would say is that it's the husband's responsibility to know
Or
what
the
type of
wife's.
spouse. No, follow what I'm about to say.
Okay.
It's the husband's responsibility to know what type of spouse you
Know your
have.
mate.
Right.
Yes.
Know your
Okay.
mate.
So what? So everyone is mad at the woman, where the woman was just doing what they do for the rehearsal. Hey, are you gonna be at rehearsal? Obviously, it's safe to assume in this situation, rehearsal had started and he ain't there.
He ain't there.
So now with that, you have some people they don't have issues with that. My wife don't like no female calling at no time of night. That's something that becomes my responsibility to let the groups that I'm involved in know. That has nothing to do with insecurity. That has nothing.
Right.
That is her
Right.
preference.
That's
Which
right.
means that now, when we
Yes.
first start this group, I'm letting everybody know, hey,
At this time,
Don't call me.
don't call my house.
Yeah.
And if somebody needs to call my house, make sure it's one of the drummers or
Yeah.
one of the such and such.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because I believe in this
Establish that.
situation, we're
Establish that.
shooting the messenger.
Right.
And then the
I get
messenger's
that.
response, while it may have been disrespectful, the messenger's response should have been a wake-up call for that home. And that is, you're questioning me. when you need to be questioning him.
Yep.
He should have already let you know
That I
who
would
I
be
am, or that I,
Yeah.
especially if the
Yeah.
group had already said so and so is responsible for everybody being there.
You
He
should
knew I
tell
was
them,
gonna call.
hey, if so-and-so
Right.
calls me, it's about this.
Right.
So
He
when she
should
sees
have
that,
already
hey,
had that conversation with you.
Maybe.
So
And that's
that
what
statement was
right.
rude,
And-
but
right.
it should have been awakening for the home to say,
That
okay,
communication should have been
right.
established.
So did you know that is there rehearsal tonight? What Geraldine said was true. When you find yourself in a situation like that, that is not the time to try to defend.
Right.
That's the time that you
No.
own up and say, you know what? I did not communicate this properly,
forgiveness.
so
Right.
I have to answer every question
You have.
that she has to make her okay with this. So
Even
did
if
you know
I'm
you had
ready.
rehearsal? Yeah, I did. Why didn't you tell me? Well, the truth of the matter is,
I knew you
probably
were
wasn't.
snap.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Now, in
Don't even lie about it. Like,
Don't
I
make
knew you was gonna
arrangements to go to rehearsal that time of night then if you know I'm gonna snap on
Well,
you.
that's the only time that they had
Yeah,
rehearsal
that's
because everybody else got to work at certain
see,
times.
see, and
See, you doing exactly what I thought you was gonna do.
And you're right.
But see, but that's where that first conversation came from. If maybe you hadn't had that situation yet,
Mhm.
then you respectfully talk to him. You're not attacking her. You're just saying, "Hey, this is my preference. I would prefer that."
But that's still on him, not
It
on
is,
her.
it is on him.
100%.
But if you answered the phone,
I'm still asking
I'm
him.
taking the phone going, hey, yo, don't call my house this late. Send me a text my
but
wife.
apparently he wasn't right there.
Right, apparently it was, and so that's what I'm
That's what
saying.
I'm
saying.
That, because to me, that's a what do you call it? That is a that's a pass on him for you to now handle what he should have been
He
handling.
should handle
Right.
For
before
you to
that.
have to talk to that person at all. No, let me tell you what I'm doing. Male or female, I'm gonna let you finish that conversation.
Yep.
You gonna finish it?
Yep.
You gonna finish? You better not get up either.
No.
You gonna finish it
You gonna
right
sit
here,
right there in front of me.
All right, you all done? Okay, so now
Now
what
we
was
gonna have
that?
our
You see what I'm saying? Because for you to get on the phone and say, "I would appreciate if you don't call," you're doing what he should have.
He should have did.
And he should still have to do it, not you do it
And
for
that's
him.
a
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
That's a man's perspective.
That's a
That
man's
is a man-
perspective.
that is a man.
We know as a man, I had to learn that.
Right.
Because when you
No, I did too.
a lot of times women sometimes don't understand when you get married, your thought process don't automatically change. It
High
takes
five.
you some.
High five.
It takes you some mentorship
Yep.
of a successful man who has failed,
Right.
and it also takes you experience. Because I have to learn what triggers her behavior, where it can't. Because sometimes it wasn't me that did it.
yeah,
Sometimes it was, but it was the old me that did it.
right.
And so now, like now, when I do the different, there was a woman, hey, I was losing weight, and my wife was across the church. So I said, hey, this lady, because I know her now, was giving me way too many compliments.
Right.
If you see her near me,
You
I'm
need to
telling
come
you,
over-
you
yeah.
need to come over here and quit all that yapping with your little friends.
And call me
right here.
And
Yeah,
rescue me.
Yeah.
Not rescue me.
Yeah.
Because when
no,
I
right.
say stop, it's different than when my wife
When
says
my wife
stop.
says
Right, because then she gonna head
Right.
out. Okay, so I love your guys' perspective, but this is a learned perspective. You might
Separate
not have
Bible
known
studies.
that
Yep.
early on.
Right, I didn't.
But I'm saying
so-
you can teach him.
Right,
My
right,
wife
right,
taught me.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes he's not there. He's not gonna make that connection. So you have to show him.
But I'm still saying you showing a man.
because
This goes back to a
sometimes
man
they
and a woman.
sometimes
You
men
showing a
do get
man
offended.
by doing it for him
Doesn't teach
is
him.
not going to teach him.
No.
I same
if he don't-
situation.
But if he doesn't step up, then
No, I'm gonna show you what the same situation. I have friends. That's all we are friends. My friends know my wife knows my friends.
Right.
So when one of my friends, who was accustomed to being able to reach out to me whenever, had an issue with her son's father, that anytime they had problems, she would call me. How do I handle this? Because you are also
A
a
man.
father outside of the home, right? She hit me up at 9:30. I didn't see a problem with it because that was something we did.
do.
My wife seen a problem with it. That's your friend. I know that's your friend. I know there's nothing, and she's my friend too. But that ain't going. She told me. She didn't get on my text and say, "Hey, we married now. You don't text that late,
Okay,
whatever."
and I
She
get
told
that.
me.
I get that.
I learned that from her. Had she done that,
I want to learn that.
I wouldn't have learned that because guess what? The problem would have been you all think we're defending them. The problem is we now feel like you're belittling us to go get on the phone and say, "Hey, I don't need you to call."
No, see, now that's a different
Escalating you.
No, but that's a different
No, but
situation.
that's
I
how
agree
they
with you.
mean-
But
That's
see
how we
it.
see it.
For me,
That they're
that
escalating.
situation is different. See, you accepted the phone call. That was a different transpiring. I would have, like, somebody texted my husband. I'm like, baby, you better hit her up, let her know what's up.
Right.
Because that's not cool. And he's like, oh, I already got that, I already did that, handle it, no big deal. So, it's just different situations. It's situational, I would say, in that case.
So I hope we were able to help somebody. But we will always have more of these types of conversations. Hit that
Yes.
subscribe button on the bottom.
Don't
And
hit
we're
the
signing
bell.
out.
Thanks for joining us on Joy from Heart Praise. I'm your host, Geraldine.
Letha.
Outside.
Talk